You know what the hours are going to be for the school?
It hasn't been set yet, but it's pretty traditional, something, 8:15 to 3:05 or something like that. Yeah. Just a traditional 6-period day schedule. It's probably the only thing that's traditional about it. Yeah, and that's what I was talking about with the 7th period day. So a 0 period would add on to, yeah.
My son's in modified classes for like English and some things like that over at Kimball. When he comes over here, how do I go about getting him plugged into the right scenario?
So we have those classes are first of all in our course catalog,
Okay.
and any student that has any needs that we're going to be sitting down one-on-one with to hand schedule those kids.
Okay.
So kids with 504, with an IEP, with intervention plans, we're going to be sitting down one-on-one with the parent and the student and whoever else is working with them.
Will we get a notification on that? Or
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I would go through and when the registration process comes through to go ahead and try to pick it out, but we're going to be sitting down with those people anyway to make sure they're scheduled in. And our special ed and intervention programs are going to be different too. It's going to be more of more access to general ed curriculum with support that kids are going to be, they're going to be able to try out some of the stuff that they have been kind of steered away from for a long time when they shouldn't be. So, yes?
Now, did you guys go against busing? No buses, right?
I don't know. There's a lot of talk about that at the district office and I stay out of it. So I don't know that it's off the table. I think it's still a very hotly debated subject. I'll tell you from my own experience, districts don't typically bus kids okay, let me say this again. In the Valley, districts bus kids to the high school. My experience in the Bay Area and the Tri-Valley, districts don't bus kids. You get to school. So, and our community is pretty small. I think from the furthest corner in Cuesta, it's like 2.1 miles or 2.2 miles. And what I'm familiar with when I was at Amador Valley High School is we worked with the state and federal government on safe routes to school. We identified routes that kids could walk. We instituted walking buses where a parent would start on one end and people would take turns and walk and pick kids up as they go across town. And so I think that we have a really great opportunity. This community was built to be a walking community. I know most of us, I drive my kids to school. Most of us drive our kids to school because it's easier, but if we encourage more healthy lifestyles, we're gonna be able to institute a walking plan for our students wherever they are in the community.
Since they don't have bags to carry.
Since they won't have these heavy bags to carry, they're only carrying this, they're fine. Right there in the back.
Yes, my question was going to be about the busing as well, but in absence of busing, they decide eventually to open no buses. Will there be bike lots in school?
Oh yes, there will be a place to lot. In fact, there's an enclosed space for bikes. Now let me say it one more time. If you live in Lammersville, there's likely to be a bus. Because there is no safe route for Lammersville kids to get to school. There's no sidewalk. That's ridiculous. And they live really far away. So there's likely to be a route that will go through the Lammersville area because we want to make sure those kids get to school safely. Because we want, I know that sometimes it's hard to get connected with the Lammersville community. We've been trying to really reach out because I love the Lammersville community. We have some really, imagine like, your kids who live here in little suburbia being able to take ag classes. And we've already started talking with the principal at Lammersville School and talking with the school board about carving out some land in that back 40 there at the school and putting some room for ag programs out there. And that doesn't mean just farming and animals. It means small engines. It means animal science. It means all kinds of really cool stuff that we can institute. In fact, I talked with a principal today who has a very well-established ag program, and they can't say enough about it. And it's not just the farming kids that are the ones taking the classes. So, Joe?
Do we have a criminal justice program?
That's a good question. I don't, it depends on the kind of teachers that we can hire and the interest in something like that. I don't believe we currently have it in the course catalog this year, but typically students don't take that until their junior or senior year. So that's the other thing is freshman and sophomore year, pretty much the offerings are pretty basic. And you'll notice in the shaded boxes on those course, and the course guide, is all the fun stuff that comes after your freshman and sophomore. Freshman and sophomore, it's kind of like going freshman and sophomore year in college, where you're getting rid of the generals so that you can get to the fun stuff. And so that's kind of what's going to happen. Next year is going to be really important for our freshmen and sophomores to say, hey, look, next year I want to take criminal justice. And then we start advertising that and seeing what the interest is. And if we've got 25, 30 kids signing up for criminal justice, absolutely. You know, again, I'm going to say it again. We're going to be responsive to what students want. And then we're going to find a teacher who's going to teach that for us. And we're going to offer a quality program. Other questions?
Mr. Corden, did you touch on freshman sports?
Oh, sports.
We did that.
Sports. How did I forget? We've got the boosters here. When you sign up for your classes, we're also asking you to sign up for the sports you think you're going to play. So when you select classes, there's one, it's not, it looks like it's a class, but it's not a course number, it just says football on it. So if you think you're going to play football, you click that. If you think you're going to play water polo next year, you click that. If you think you're going to be a wrestler next year, you click that. So you're going to select the sports that you think you're going to play, and that's going to also give us an idea, are we going to field just a freshman team or a freshman and a JV team? Or what are we doing next year? Are we going to have enough people to field these teams? We have the money this year, and the boosters are going to help us with that, to institute programs, pretty much all of the major sports. It's the other sports that I'm not sure, like badminton is on that list. Quick fact, Mr. Fobert played varsity badminton at middle school. I did not play basketball. Wow. When you're this tall, you don't have to move on the badminton court. So, you know, it just depends on what the interest is. And I think if there's an interest in enough kids playing a certain sport, we're going to offer that sport. Lacrosse is one I'm not sure. It's really big in the Tri-Valley right now, but it hasn't made its way out to the Central Valley yet. So it just depends.
I apologize if you've addressed this before I arrived on the previous meetings. I'm just curious as to what the class sizes would be like. As you talked about just hiring one counselor for 400 students.
Right.
So what are your class sizes going to be like?
You mean individual class? How many kids in each class?
That's right. I mean, for the freshman, sophomore years.
So it'll be about 30 to 35 kids per class. That's about the general size of each class. I mean, it might be a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, especially some of the specialty classes. This first couple of years, some of the classes we're going to let fly pretty low, just so that we can have them. You know, we want to make sure we offer them. So we have a certain number of full-time positions that the district has given us. Right now the number is 21. We might ask for one or two more. So we have authority to hire 21 teachers, 21 full-time positions. And that's where we are with the 400 to 450 students. Did you have a question?
If we're gonna have a swimming pool, are we gonna have like swim teams?
Yes, even if we don't have a swimming pool, we can have a swim team because we can rent facilities until our pool is built. And we're working very closely with some partners to hopefully get that done sooner than later. And then it will be available for the community and we don't have to drive into Tracy to do swim lessons in the summer.
Mr. Corden.
Yes.
Sorry, I want to think about
Yeah, sure,
sports as
sure.
well as Kimball.
Sure.
So what about the parents that have kids at Kimball that are playing varsity sports that will have to take a step back from here and start?
That's a really good question, and I wish we had hired our AD already, because all the people that we interviewed, that was one of the questions.
Right, because my
Yeah.
niece does not want to transfer because she wants to stay on the varsity
Right,
at Kimball. And are they going to be forced to come here as sophomores?
right. So that's a very good question. I mean, I think in the end, we don't want unhappy students who then come and say, forget you, I'm not playing sports because you took me out of my program or whatever. What I would like to say is that even if a student is playing varsity sports now, to come to a school that's brand new and be the one to institute the sports program and be the one to start it, and instead of being at a school where maybe they're a sophomore on a varsity team and maybe not playing as much, to being the number one on the team for 3 years, that's an opportunity that no student should pass up. They're going to get playtime like no other. At another school, they're not going to. You got 2,000 kids and you got this many people on the team. We're going to give everybody equal playing time. You know what? Our team might be teeny, and they're going to be playing the whole time. And then they're going to have their skill levels going to go up. They're going to be able to be seen by more people. And we're going to pick the right athletic director who has connections to make sure that they're seen as they get older.
That's great, but what if they're already that person at that school? She's already the star player on the varsity team for basketball, so it's a hard sell for
It is.
It is.
I don't know what to tell you.
I would make one comment to that. If your daughter's a star player on a high school team, she's not going to get recruited out of high school. She's getting recruited on her club team, so it comes down to high school pride. It's what it comes down
That
to.
could be.
She's not getting recruited out of high school. College coaches don't go to recruit at high school. They go to recruit at club or whatever you play.
I don't think it's a matter of recruiting, it's a matter of her passion.
Yeah, being able to play. There are going to be students who are just going to say, you know what, I don't want to go there. But I'll be honest with you, I think that it's hard to pass up the opportunity to really be the first. Anybody who's ever been part of being the first students at a school will tell you, you cannot get that opportunity back. I came to this opportunity for that very reason. You cannot get this kind of opportunity. It's a once in a lifetime kind of thing. So the fact that you're living in a community not only that is opening a brand new high school, but that's opening a brand new high school that has a methodology like no other school anywhere ever. People are going to be coming to us and they're going to be asking your student, what is it like to go to your school? How do you like this Chromebook thing? What, how do your teachers teach you? Tell me about what's going on, and we get to be the example as we move forward in public education. Mr. Seamus and I were talking earlier that so many public education organizations are just boxed in by the we used to. We used to do it this way. We've always done it that way. We can't change it the way we're doing it. We're starting with an open slate, and we can do it the way we want it to, and we can institute it in a way that it constantly changes with what is needed for the community. And that's the kind of culture that we're building here at Mountain House High School. So I think, what time is it? We're about done. If there's no more questions.
Yeah, a statement.
Okay.
I don't know if everybody's aware, but Mr. Fobert comes to us. He's been a long-time Mountain House resident, and he was a member of the Lammersville School Board for quite a while. And I just want to thank you for putting the extra time and this outreach together, because this is really unprecedented in the communities that I've lived in. So thanks for your energy. I appreciate that you sacrificed your position on the school board to take this opportunity, and I just want to thank you for your service.
Thank you.